Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session doing some tactics on, or not, tactics on chesstempo.com. No, today we're doing some endgame training on leechess.org just to sort of share some of the knowledge that I've acquired over the years on how to win, how to decide when to trade into a king and pawn endgame. So you see this position, and we call it like the mother of all endgame positions. It is your bread and butter when you decide if you're gonna trade into a king and pawn endgame. You need to know if you're gonna win, draw, or lose. So here, it's definitely not possible to lose for white. White's definitely not losing in this position, but is it a win or is it a draw? And so what we need to do, we need to take a look at the position and decide, what moves are available and what are black's responses, and who to move wins and who to move is going to draw. In this position, white to move is actually a draw, and black to move is actually lost. Now the reason for this is because of this thing called the opposition. This idea that with the kings face to face facing each other, one of them has to cede ground. Here this king doesn't have to cede ground. If I move my king around, he has the diagonal opposition. Again, sort of this face-to-face idea. If I move my king back, he again has this regular opposition. It's important to note that if I did this, he would just go here. So no matter what I do, the king can always take this opposition. There's just no stopping it. So any king move isn't going to win for white. So the only thing left is a pawn move. Pawn move, king here. This king, at the moment, has this one escape square here. But if I go anywhere, I have to abandon my pawn. So the only way to defend the pawn is to come here, but now it's stalemate. This is called stalemate because the king has nowhere to go. The pawn controls these squares here. The pawn is controlling here. The king is controlling here. So this king is just completely trapped. He has nowhere to go. This is called stalemate. It's not a draw. I mean, it is a draw. It's a half a point. But technically, the word is stalemate. And there's just nothing to do. There's nothing to do. If the king is behind the pawn, the king goes in front of the pawn. King goes to the side of the pawn, face-to-face, opposition. So again, king behind the pawn, king in front. King beside, face-to-face, opposition. King behind, king in front. King behind, king in front. Side to side, facing. King in front. King behind, king in front. So whenever the king is behind the pawn anywhere, this king should stay directly in front of the pawn. And anytime this king comes to the side, the key to drawing the position is just to take the opposition. Now, what if you don't take the opposition? What if you fuck it up? What if you mess it up? What if king, king, king? Now, it's not black who has the opposition, because the black king can no longer follow the white king. The white king can follow the black king. It's white who has the opposition in this position. And you can see the difference. Black to move loses, because now my king isn't here. The king must move, only escape square, and white's going to promote. Let's take a look at the beginning of that position. The beginning of that position, if the pawn moves, king here is just an immediate draw. And if the king moves, no matter what, king behind, king in front, king behind, king in front, king to the side, opposition. Black has the opposition because it's white to move. Let's take a look at that position against a computer, shall we? Now we know that we know that it's a draw, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us if we're playing black or if we're playing white, because we know that it's a draw. All right, I'm playing white. I'm a pawn up, but I can't draw. I can't win because black has the opposition. So if I king behind, king in front, king behind, king in front, king behind, king in front, king to the side, opposition. King behind, king in front, king behind, king to the side, opposition. And if I push the pawn, king here, now I have a choice. Any of these moves are going to give up the pawn immediately, and it's a draw. And this only other move is a stalemate, because the king has nowhere to go. This pawn controls these squares, the king controls the pawn, and the king controls the other escape squares. There's just nowhere to go. So many. Let's take a look at that from my side. Okay, so the king is behind his pawn. So I'm going to go in front. King's behind his pawn, I'm going to go in front. Now this would be a loss. But this is a draw because of the opposition. Now, this is a funny trick by my opponent, because if here, then d7 is winning, right? But instead I take what's called the diagonal opposition. You can still see the kings are face to face, just now it's a diagonal. King behind, king in front. King behind, king in front. King behind, king in front, behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, in front. And he's not going to try anymore. So he tried all of his tricks, trying to get me to go to b8. He tried taking the opposition, and he tried staying behind the pawn and tricking me into going to c8 or e8. But I'm not that stupid. And I know the drawing technique, and I hope that you guys do too. All right. Let's accept the loss, quote unquote, and take a look at another position. All right. So again, in this position, white to move. Oh, it's very hot. White to move is a draw, because if pawn checks, stalemate, or we give up the pawn. And if the king moves anywhere, then we just take the opposition. King behind, king in front, king to the side, opposition. But in this position, it's not white to move, it's black to move in this position. And we're going to lose. Because now, we control these squares. The king must leave, take the opposition, and there's nothing the king can do to control the d8 square to stop promotion. Let's take a look at this against the computer. Again, we know the results. I'm not gonna. Oh, haha. Whoops. There we go. I'm not gonna, get my panties in a bunch about this, because we know exactly that because black has to give up the opposition, we can just promote directly. Now, any other move by white is a draw. Any other move by white is a draw. The one move that wins is e7, taking the opposition. Taking this opposition, putting my king face to face with the other king. But most importantly, controlling the e8 square. That's the idea. We need to control the e8 square. So come in, control e8, and checkmate. Blah, blah, blah. Let's do that from my side. Let's see if Stockfish can do it. Can Stockfish win this position? F8 is immediate. F8 doesn't even give an attempt at stopping promotion, right? Because if F8, E7. And there's no way to go back to the E8 square because the pawn controls E8. So my best try is king d8. Controlling e8, controlling c8. I can't stay on the back rank. But most importantly, I can't go to e7 here. So I have to cede territory, I have to give it up, and the king takes this opposition. And most importantly, he controls d8. There's nothing much better to do than allow promotion and try to stay in the middle of the board for as long as possible in order to prolong the checkmate and maybe try to flag my opponent. All right, that's it for this position, this mother of king and pawn endgames, the bread and butter, the one that you look at to decide, do I lose, do I draw, or can I win? I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you learned a little something. And until the next time, good luck with your chess journey, guys. Bye-bye for now.